everyone to our weekly appointment with OpenShift Coffee Break. We have with us today Fabio, as always, as
Hello,
our
everyone. Good
co-host,
morning.
and Stefano, Stagnaro, and Gaetano, Rosa.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Thanks for having us.
And what are we talking about today, Fabio?
Let's leave our guest to speak about and describe the topic of today. And probably first of all, could be great if you want to introduce yourself, what you do in your daily life, and before, just after having our coffee shot, and why you are here. Okay. So, Gaetano, if you want to go first, please.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks, Fabio. Thanks, Andrea. And first of all, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having us in this amazing live. I'm Gaetano Rosa. I'm an instructor, a certified instructor, and CEO of Extraordinary, is the company that runs the training, Red Hat training in Italy. I'm in the Red Hat world since 2002. I joined Red Hat in 2002, and I immediately started as instructor and examiner. And now, with our colleagues, we organize and deliver our Red Hat training in Italy. And we are really passionate doing. We have a lot of passion deliver training.
Stefano. I'm Stefano Stagnaro. I'm an instructor, and now I'm focusing on cloud native courses like OpenShift and automation, of course. And today we try to address some question and to answer one of the biggest question about how is important training in the cloud native technologies in an era where every kind of technology is really is available, and how training are still very important. So very excited for this meeting.
So I guess we'll be talking about training and certification around OpenShift and related technologies. Gaetano, so in general, how certification and training are important? Why are they important in an era where resources are accessible through all sorts of means and people can find ways of training themselves and learning on their own? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you for your question. Actually, it's really important to know the right way technologies that we use every day in companies, in a large account, in telco, or wherever kind of application we are using, a new kind of technology, new kind of paradigms. It's important to have a center of excellence or a center of competence inside our companies, because it's mandatory for our point of view to have the overview, the knowledge, a structured knowledge on and competences on the technology that will run our mission and business critical workload. And how can we achieve this kind of knowledge in the right way? There is no other comparable way to learn how the technology works against the training, the official Red Hat training, because there is a structure on the knowledge. There are a lot of deep dive on a single task and components that all together define how the technology works and how to design, implement, and troubleshoot technology. And in the new paradigma, in the microservices era and the cloud era and the DevOps era, we have to know how the solutions work, how to interact with the solution, how the team have to define the workflow on our solutions.
Gaetano, we already have a question from our chat. And hi,
That's
Ashish,
great.
Thanks for joining us. And Ashish is asking, he's been learning OpenShift as a developer, so I guess the developer side of OpenShift, but he'd like to understand a little bit more about what he should learn around administration. So what are the big learning paths? But I'm pretty sure that you're going to address that during your talk, right?
Definitely. Stefano, do you want to...
Yeah, I can try to address this. The question is very interesting because our friend is asking about learning path from the admin point of view. He is currently studying as a developer. So how can I go through the process that I'm starting as a developer? I'm going to manage an OpenShift cluster. That's not trivial. But fortunately, Red Hat has this learning path that has one starting point that is common for different profiles in the team, from developer and administrator, more maybe focused on infrastructure matter, and then this starting point, this course is called DO180. Course DO180 is the starting point for everyone. Maybe if you are already working with OpenShift as a developer, you already took this course, maybe you can just skip this one. After this, we have the path split in two directions. The first one is the developer, and the second one is the admin perspective. In the admin perspective, the first step is the DO 280. And this course is really focusing on administration skills. Well, just for an example, during the course, you will be granted the admin the admin users, the admin privileges, which are not needed in any of the developer courses. So I really suggest you to look at the DO 280. That is OpenShift Administration 2, because the one is just the common course, and in this course you will go through security aspects of the clusters, like role-based access control. This is pretty common model, but you will understand how to implement role-based access control, networking concepts, and how the scheduling algorithm really works underneath. So it's really exciting for someone who want to become an OpenShift administrator.
By the way, we're giving already codes of classes and exams. Maybe it would be worthwhile to give an overview of the paths so that people understand where they're placed and what are the prerequisites, for example, what skills they would acquire. I see that because I'm seeing a lot of questions. Somebody's asking, what would you recommend to get to the EX 180? many people on the call would probably not even know what that EX180 is. So I think it would be worthwhile to give an overview and try and get people understand what the paths are. If you guys want to get
sure.
started with that.
First of all, I wanna say something important, that every course, every learning path, it's a specific path that needs some information, some knowledge that it's as a prerequisite for different kind of training. For example, if we talk about a specific course on OpenShift, we are talking about microservices, we are talking about containers. It's important, or let me say mandatory, that who will join us for a course on OpenShift, a basic course or an advanced course on OpenShift, have to know how Linux works, how an administrator have to move inside Linux, because this kind of knowledge will be not useful, but mandatory in using a container, a Linux container. Remember, everything is based on Linux, and will be perfect to work on microservices and images, containers on OpenShift, and will be easy for infrastructure, for sys administrator to have that kind of knowledge. But maybe it's a little bit less easy for a developer. That for this reason, the right learning path, it's really important. Understand the right learning path is important. And on the Red Hat website, we have a phenomenal instrument, is the skill assessment that works on this, that let us understand the level of our knowledge on all topics needed for a specific knowledge content. We're talking about the DO180, for example. DO180 is the course that let us understand how Red Hat OpenShift works, and specific content will be on containers and Kubernetes. We know very well that OpenShift is a Kubernetes distro, and during the course we will describe the container OpenShift architecture, creating containerized services, managing containerized and container images, creating custom container images, deploying and containerizing application on OpenShift, deploying multi-container applications. Let me say that the content of this course will be the content of the exam, the certification exam AX180 that has been described a few seconds ago. This is the first step for right knowledge on OpenShift.
Okay, let me ask a question. Probably, well, it's too early, but there is Mario with first of all, thanks for joining. Asking for a complete course. Let's see, what does it mean complete? And takes care of the OpenShift plus ACM. Is there anything? I do have the answer, but I don't want to reply. So do we have something regarding ACM or some course that covers also the ACM part?
Or maybe we can turn it in another way. What is the current coverage of Red Hat training for all the components of OpenShift Platform Plus, such as ACM, Quay, ACS?
As you know, there are a lot of new bricks that have been added to the OpenShift ecosystem recently. So like ACM or even the Stackworks for security. So Red Hat training is a strong commitment in order to cover all the new technologies. But specifically to ACM, what I can say that new courses that will cover these technologies are on their way, but they are not currently covered by some courses, general available courses. No, the current coverage is about, of course, the open, talking about the cluster perspective, if I understood the question, is about, of course, the cluster itself, OpenShift itself, components like the logging, the monitoring, and of course, Quay, talking about something that you can put on top of OpenShift, of course, Quay.
Yeah, just for the guys that don't know what Quay is our enterprise registry offering. So
yeah,
please.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting. No. That's part of my solution architect work. So that's so please go ahead.
Yeah. So ACM is really important because nowadays you need not only to manage the cluster, but you have an overview. But courses that covers all the other components are coming. So stay tuned, I can say.
And do we have a way of communicating, let's say, the roadmap of courses, like this particular course is going to come up in 6 months or in 3 months. In the meantime, this is what you can do if you want to train yourself, just so that people can somewhat, or do we recommend another way of doing it? For example, if the adoption is really important, to partner with our professional services for the first implementation.
Yes, there are a lot of activities through the community of Red Hat. We can subscribe the mailing list from Red Hat that will update us on every new solution, on updated courses, because as you can understand, courses are updated so frequently because of new versions, new technology or new version of the software. Let me do an example. We are working on the new version of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux courses, because in a few weeks will be the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, and that will be the foundation, as you know, on everything. During looking on the Red Hat website, on Red Hat Twitter account, we can join and discuss every new information of training.
Maybe we will forward the links to that later on. There's another interesting question, and actually I've been asking myself that a couple of times, and I am not sure of his name. JMG Suarez. He's asking, or she's asking, one of the prerequisites of the EX280 is become a Red Hat Certified System Administrator, RHCSA, or have comparable work experience and skills. What does it mean? What are those comparable work experience and skills, and how do you demonstrate those?
Yeah, it's a challenging question. It's not easy. Well, first, this is an amazing question, because first of all, requirements are not just wrote because we want to be evil, but requirements really are part of a good learning. talking about the administration path, of course, Linux requirements are very important, because you will be asked to use the command line and go through native Linux concept feature provided directly by the Linux kernel. So the only requirement is our first level, the associate level of certification in Linux, that is the certificate sysadmin. So it not a big deal, but I can say as an instructor that often these requirements are not taken in consideration as they are supposed to. If you don't have this certification as a requirement, and it's not a problem, we will let you attend the course anyway. But my suggestion is to go to the RHCSA page and look at the content of the course, of the certification, and look what Red Hat intends for skill requirements. So you will find out that sysadmin certification is full of Linux skills, spanning from storage, from networking configuration, and so on. We can say that if you have some experience as a sysadmin for a couple of years, maybe the skills are already covered by your daily work experience. But please go to the one that is now in the foreground. Just go through the certification detail of the sysadmin certification and see if you are confident with these topics. That could be a good starting point. If you still have any doubt, just ask the training partner you wish to attend the course, or just write on an instructor, reach out with Red Hat, with someone involved in the training sale, and just ask. That is better than not ask.
Let me add. I totally agree with Stefano. It's really important to talk with someone, talk with Red Hat, with your solution architect. We talk with an instructor. Just drop an email on training at redhat.com, training dash the country code like IT or whatever, at redhat.com, asking for a chat with an instructor. It will be the right way, the best way to understand if we are looking in the right way, in the right direction for certification, for training, for a specific course, or all the necessary prerequisite that is needed for a specific course. Let me add something more. I just shown the portal, the Red Hat portal for the Red Hat training community, that is learn.redhat.com. It's really useful to keep in touch with instructors, with trainers, with the community, to understand where the training is going.
Also talking about requirements, because our friend asked about the 280. Yes, the Linux, the certified sysadmin is a soft requirement. I like your definition, but keep in mind that the OpenShift 1 course is not mandatory. You are not supposed to take the 180 at all cost, but the content of the first course are just taken as understood by any of the attendees. So like Kubernetes Basics, like what is a pod, a service, deployment, and the basic of container that is not only Docker or Podman basic command, but also what means for a process, from the process point of view, to be containerized. That is what we talk in the first course. And I can tell you that most of the time, people just underestimate the OpenShift 1 course because they say, okay, I have been used with Docker or Kubernetes for a while now, and I know the basics. But what is really important that what happens when something goes wrong inside a container? What really mean stateless from the process perspective? So that's not trivial concepts. So you can skip the first course, yes, but make sure that those concepts are you are confident with this.
Yeah, I'm with you, Stefano, because building strong and structured, solid basics will probably take some more time, but can help people employed in company or system integrators or Red Hat partners to have a solid and probably stronger approach to the bunch of information that are around OpenShift. Because if we, as I read that, and Andrea can confirm this, we face sometimes a lot. We do a lot of effort to follow the continuous news regarding OpenShift. We now have a release each quarter, more or less, every 3 months, where a lot of things and news come regarding networking that on the developer side. So having a solid basics, probably, I think it allows people to face in a more effective way, also to manage all this kind of the flow, the continuous flow of information coming from Red Hat. And the following question from my side would be, you already mentioned the reason, the why, but I want to go again on this concept. Why? Let's start it from a big companies that is like
we're having some network problems. I don't know if it's just me. Okay, let's wait for Fabio to
put effort.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah, back again. So the networking today properly. A lot of effort in terms of budgeting money and also people have an ops knowledge regarding Shift. Did you get my question?
Yes. I think it's clear. There are different point of view to answer to your really interesting question. First of all, as we know, a project for a system integrator, for a large account, for a partner, is based on Red Hat technologies, needs to know and to let that all stakeholders know the technology in order to talk the same language, to are on the same desk. Fabio, how many times, Andrea, how many times happened that with customer, with clients, with partners, we have to find the right way to talk on the same topic. It's difficult to talk the same language. Okay. The foundation is needed. You cannot delegate this kind of information. You have to know. You have to have inside your organization a center of excellence, or let me say, a center of competence on the technology. From the project management point of view, from the operation point of view, from the business point of view, and knowledge is a day zero. Day zero is knowledge, and after that kind of knowledge, after acquiring that knowledge, you can move on the next step. It's the implementation and high-level design implementation. But you can delegate absolutely delegate the high-level design. But you have to understand, is the high-level design match your business needs? And again, you have to understand the technology in order to evaluate the project, the high-level design. And this is the second reason. But after that, the project will be delivered in production and will be mission and business critical. And you have to manage the business as usual on that project, on that delivery. And again, you cannot delegate 100%. You can have partners, you can have fully managed services, but you have to understand how business is going.
I would add one more point to yours. That now in the digital era, probably knowledge is now the new. Is part of the great benefit that a company can provide to its employees. Not there are a lot of salary could be benefits like salary, health insurance, cars. I don't know, whatever. But knowledge is the new oil, probably, because it allows people to be more effective in our daily job, to be more to provide also their new ideas coming from. But you know that we truly believe in sharing knowledge and contribution, and I think this kind of approach can be applied to any company, and this could happen only if people knows where they are and what they are going to do. If you don't know where you're going to sit in your next 6 months, could be uncomfortable to provide any new ideas and contribution. I don't know, Andrea, if you agree, read that like me.
Yes, I'd add a couple of comments and or questions to our friends from the learning side. Red Hat certifications are in the industry considered quite hard to achieve as compared with other competitors, or maybe, for example, you got hyperscalers. But I wanted to ask, and that could be also if you wish, a way to define a certain level of professionals that once they have achieved that certification, they can. It's part of their professional makeup, if you wish, their profile, and it can be, let's say, sold. In many ways. But we have questions about, for example, people that it's in the chat that have achieved, for example, they passed the Kubernetes and Cloud certification from the Linux Foundation. And they would like to know how easy it is, if they have done that, to pass the X180, what would they have to do? So we also have to be conscious that people have gotten other types of certifications, and how we would advise them on what classes, on what paths they should take to achieve a particular certification with Red Hat. We're talking X180, from the X280, and several others. Do we do that on an individual basis, or only for larger organizations where we do skill assessment, group skill assessment, and we sort of understand who needs to go on what path? Is this something that we also do for individuals?
Oh, well, a very structured question, but just let me say, first of all, yes, starting from the beginning of your question, Red Hat exams are challenging, yes, and the value of the certification that you obtain pass through this. So yes, it's hard to achieve. Yes, there are a lot of failures. If you just look at some Reddit sub channels talking about people that fails and just retake the exam, but this is the value. I don't want to talk about other hyperscalers. I work for other trainings, but so often exams are multiple choice, multiple answers, multiple choice, single answer. And over the years, certification are become more and more easy. That's not the case in Red Hat exams, but is the value that you have when you achieve the certification. So yes, it's hard to achieve, but it gives you a lot, and you can, as you said, Andrea, you can sell this certification when you want just to go to get a better career or just move to another company. Another question was how Red Hat's path in OpenShift differs, or maybe what they have in common with other Kubernetes learning path. Of course, the first thing that comes to people's mind is the Linux Foundation course, official Kubernetes courses. Well, I can say you that sometimes I have been asked about the opposite question. I'm an OpenShift administrator with the certification. How easy is to take the Linux Foundation one? Well, they have a lot in common. Of course, we always say, you always, Andrea and Fabio, you always say that OpenShift is Kubernetes. But there are differences in what OpenShift have more as a really a DevOps application. Kubernetes sometimes is referred at DevOps, but is just a very beautiful, awesome operation automation system. So when you are going through the OpenShift courses and exams, you will be asked also about DevOps components like builds, for instance. What it means, how I'm going through the process that starts from your sources and ends up in a running container, in a running pod. This is something that is some features of OpenShift that, of course, are not covered. So everything that is an OpenShift only features, not because Red Hat wants to make proprietary features, but because OpenShift has a wider scope rather than Kubernetes. So this is something that you will have to study if coming from the Linux Foundation certifications or learning path. I want to say something about the opposite. Sometimes OpenShift certificates, OpenShift specialists, think they can easily take Linux Foundation certification like CKA and so on, because I'm OpenShift certificated. Kubernetes is simple. Well, OpenShift is really appreciated because it's easy. It's super easy. And just as an example, the process to log in, as you know, in an OpenShift cluster is very easy in OpenShift does OC login. because OpenShift will take care about tokens and everything. This is not the same in Kubernetes. So to a certain degree, Kubernetes only, pure Kubernetes certification could be harder if you are very familiar with all the macros and all the super features of OpenShift. But that's part of the fun, I think. And at the end, how we can test ourselves and find the right code. Yeah, of course, if a team, if a company reach our sales department and if they ask us how to test their team, we can do that. But for the individuals, well, we have so-called self-assessment that you can find on the Reddit websites. So, of course, those are predefined tests with questions, and based on your score, the application will address you to a certain level of a path. Maybe not the beginning. This is the sorry, this is the Italian page, but it's the same. Find the path, of course. So you have just to choose the technology you are interested in and take this brief test, maybe 20 or 30 questions. This is a good starting point, I think.
There are some questions coming.
Yes, I was going to say, yes, we had sort of structured the presentation, but I can't say that I haven't seen so many questions in all of our episodes as today. So
yeah, I didn't expect it actually.
May I add something on the topic just covered about exams? As you know, Andrea, Stefano, Fabio, without exams are definitely they need a sort of kind of effort to pass the exam because that exam are performance oriented. Performance oriented means hands-on, that the exam environment will try to replicate a real production environment, simulate a real production environment. All of those problems, but also tasks you have to run on a production environment. You have to install, test, troubleshoot an environment, a real environment. Why Red Hat is doing an exam like this? Because the goal is to have the highest possible level of professionalism on this kind of on our technology, and gives real value to all of their professional that achieves the certification. And this is a really different point of view, because as you mentioned, other kind of certification are definitely different with a different level of difficulty. And for this reason, a performance-oriented, an hands-on exam provides a different feedback, a different level of on a person that will evaluate the professionals with certification. And as Fabio says, everyone can take off everything, money, job role, wherever, but they cannot take off your knowledge. And this is an asset that you will use for your life.
There is also a very interesting question, and I have a feeling that the 15 minutes that we have may not be enough to answer that one.
Do we want to start from?
Is asking, whether what you get from a certification, let's say DO 280, would be enough for a person to deploy a production environment.
That's a great point.
And I guess the question is deploy, but then you have to operationalize it. You have to secure it. You have to make decisions in terms of storage and all that. So I think it's a loaded question in a sense, but I'd like to hear what you say.
Yeah, I was reading the comment section and say, oh, this is thought, this is very hard. But yes, it's something that we were talking before. So as an investment, so I'm expecting after the courses, after my learning part, to go in production somehow. Because remember that the goal of the training, the value of the training is not something special, is not some secrets that we are just revealing only with people on the courses. There are no secret in the open source in general, not only in OpenShift. We will say in these even in years ago in with Linux courses, in Red Hat training will not find anything that is not already available in the internet. That is the amazing open source. So is courses answer 2 questions from a team perspective: how fast, how deep. So how much time you can give your team to upskill their self, and are you sure that they will manage to cover all the basic topics and cover all the possible common, and let's say common problems that can arise in a production environment? That is the question that Red Hat training are trying to answer. So yes, maybe just say in the admin perspective of a DO 280, the deployment itself is taken only from a certain point of view. What I mean, in the DO 280 OpenShift Administration 2, the deployment itself is taken into account just as if you choose the automatic installation. So it's very is not goes really deep on installation. That is because this course is full of topics, full of technology, and the installation is explained. We go through all the steps. But for instance, Red Hat always suggests, solution architects also always suggest to go through the IPI installation. Maybe 90% of the times they say take in consideration to go with the automatic installation with the installed provisioned infrastructure. And the DO 280 covers this part. So at the end of the course, yes, you will have all the knowledge to install a cluster with the IPI installation method, which is the preferred and the suggested one. For more advanced type of installation, like the user provisioned infrastructure, or some maybe disconnected installation, and we have more advanced courses. So because DO 280 is very deep, full of topics, but a day is a day. This is only 7 or 8 hours, and 5 days ends very very quickly when you are enjoying what you're doing. So at the end of the week, you have a lot of knowledge to start managing a cluster. But there are a lot of the things that we have in more advanced course, like 3880, like courses like the 322. Maybe I don't think is shown in this picture, but the DO 322 is a really brief course, only intended to go deep in the installation. So, okay, you want to learn more about installer provision and infrastructure and all the options. You need to go deep in user provision infrastructure, maybe disconnected installation, and we have a brief course only on this. So, just to come back to the initial question, yes. You can start go in production, of course. We cannot cover everything, but more and more topics are covered in the advanced course that come next.
So again, we could probably have one single session on these topics. There's a further question that basically is asking, so you're saying that 280 does not cover UPI, and those that are interested in doing UPI, they should be taking on top of that the 322. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely. Just to add a bit of our friend here is has just replied about. It is a good example because he asked about IPI installation. They have some limitation. We cannot talk about IPI today, but just to give you a question, Red Hat Training have a strong commitment on taking their courses up to date. But as you can understand, they cannot update the course with the pace that OpenShift has, the same pace that OpenShift has with the releases. So this is something that instructor I'm trying to put as to fill the gap between the version of the course as it been released maybe just 6 months ago, and the new features. One features maybe in OpenShift 4.10 is the IPI disconnected installation that now is a feature generally available, just to answer our friend. So this is a value in the courses. We instructor are trying to fill this gap. And I think that is something to take into consideration.
So that's also the difference between a self-paced course as opposed to an instructor-led one. Because the instructor is there, will be able to fill the gaps, answer questions, and making sure that if there is a gap between the current version of the training and the latest release of the product, one can sort of explain the delta where it's needed.
Andrea, you get the point. It's an important difference. As you know, our followers knows that there are two kind of courses: the instructor-led training, where an instructor does the best work in the world, I say every time, because it's not just a geek technology knowledge and transfer. There is also the way to transfer the knowledge and talk each other and learn also from our students every day, not only give them our knowledge, but also a difference between an instructor-led training and a Red Hat learning subscription, for example, to a specific product from Red Hat that give all training in registered, recorded lessons. is that kind of difference. Talking with an instructor, asking to the instructor a specific question, a specific update, a specific variation, and the knowledge that has been acquired doing something on the field, like on professional services during consulting. That kind of knowledge will be shared on a specific update, or give a rich information that is more instead of classical training, is the value of attending an instructor-led training course.
And this is a question just because we are in sort of quasi post-pandemic, and I just wanted to ask you whether so the instructor-led can be done remotely, right? So in a virtual classroom. Are we also doing in person now, or not yet?
Not yet. Not yet. Of course, we moved in the past few years to virtual trainings. Well, let me say, we got great feedbacks from our students for virtual training. Of course, people were forced with this kind of delivery, but at the end there is even value, like saving time,
travel costs.
Costs. You have to arrange the accommodation and so on. But of course, in-person training has a great value that you can just not compare. I don't agree to compare the two. Both of the two kind of delivery have their own advantage and disadvantages.
So you do expect that at some point we will
get
back to also in-person training?
I expect to have to start to come back to school maybe in September with the end of the summer. Yeah, we expect this, but it's just an educated guess.
Absolutely. Let me add that will be different from a pre-pandemic period. In the pre-pandemic period, in the EMEA area, we delivered a lot of instructor-led training in presence in classroom, and a few courses in remotely with virtual training. Post-pandemic, we expect that the balance will be definitely different. We will start again doing real life training in the same classroom, but with a different balance with virtual training, because a lot of advantages of the virtual training, as a traveling cost, arrangement, or whatever, will be useful to manage it through a virtual training.
Yeah, but let's remind ourselves that at the end we are just human beings, and we need to connect each other. In the real life, yes, doing things remotely help a lot, but at the end we need to be to connect each other, sit down in the same desktop and share our experience. That's one of probably the best thing or attending a training, a class training.
Fabio,
just sharing.
Totally agree. And let me add something curious.
Please go ahead.
You know the best moment to sharing something it's during a coffee break or a lunch.
That's true.
Yes, very true. And I'm afraid that's all we have time for today.
We should call time probably, and let's remind our guests just the next session. Actually, we will have a break next week because there will be Red Hat Summit on the 10 and 11. Let me share the link
for Summit.
Yeah, for the registration.
Very good. Yes,
finally, we will have a live summit with a limited number of persons that will be allowed to attend. But like the last 2 years, everything will be streamed online, and so you can register and attend session remotely. And the week next, we will have a special session for the KubeCon. So please join us for the KubeCon session. Let me share the link if you want just to register to the KubeCon event. That's it, probably. And thanks a lot, Gaetano and Stefano. I didn't expect a lot of questions regarding your very content.
Yes, one last question from me before we close. I can see that a lot of people are interested in understanding a little bit more how they can get their training sorted. They have a lot of questions. Where should they go? What email address should they send their questions to?
First of all, that website is rich information. The portal learn.redhat.com. It's really useful to talk with instructors. This is a real advantage of use the portal learn.redhat.com. Use it. It's really a great place where to interact with instructors, with the Red Hat training team. Also, the training dash country code IT for Italy, UK for United Kingdom, and so on at redhat.com for any question regarding training and certification. And keep in touch with us, with Stefano and myself on our social.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
And thank you all for joining us. And see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.